Hello, 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 you guys. It's me, Dr. Torie, with another episode of Be Victorious. Now, let me share some wonderful information about this lovely lady. You all know I love music, and I happen to be a part of the Healing Summit that we had this summer in the United Kingdom. And I met this wonderful young lady that expresses her art, her feelings, everything through music. Her name is Rai. Rai, where are you?
Hi, Dr. Torie.
I'm so excited that you're here. Oh my
Me
God.
too.
I love you. Any artist that can express their thoughts, theories, feelings with inside their music is touches my soul. I love music, and your songs are so inspiring.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I am glad that you're here. So, I have just a few questions before you tell us about your wonderful self. Do you know about ACEs?
I do, yeah. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Interesting. What's your ACEs score?
Well, the one with you was 7,
Okay.
but you seem to get different over here. There's different questions. So when I done it
Right.
originally, it was 9. Uh,
Really?
yeah, and the one here, but it changed my life.
Good. I'm glad you said
Every
that because I'm going through the struggle of people understanding and defining their ACEs score. I'm sure you don't let that ACEs score define you.
no, no,
And see, that's
definitely.
why she's wonderful. I told you guys. Oh my God. And see, this is the thing. I created a different one so I could break it down and people can understand that no, don't let your ACEs score define you. However, the original ACEs study had 50 questions, and
Oh, wow.
then they kind of combined it into 10. So those 10 questions are really 3 questions or 4 questions into one. It's an awareness tool. So, yeah. It doesn't matter. We can't let the ACEs score define us. So, what do you do? I know you said that it changed your life. How did the ACEs score change your life?
Because it allowed me to understand myself. I was 41 when I done the first ACEs test,
Really?
so I'd had a lot of tumultuous years,
Right.
and didn't understand things within myself. And then doing that test, I had it there in black and white
Mhm.
that things from a very early age have impacted me throughout my life. And that was the first inkling that I realized that I had CBTSD, and it all just made sense.
Mhm.
And I started researching from that point, and finally got to know myself.
And guess what? Me too. And I'm over 40 just like you. You know what I mean? Like it's not too late to make the changes that we need for ourselves, especially for our own self-care. I'm
Yeah.
excited because you said that it changed your life. It changed mine too. So that's the reason why we're here, because we want others to do the same and make those necessary steps for their self. So how does your music do that for you?
My music, it allows me, well, I was singing before I actually took the ACEs awareness.
Right.
But throughout the years, I didn't realize that it's been an avenue, my poetry, my music. Even though when I wasn't actually a musician or singing, I'd be in my room and writing, and that allowed me to have the avenue to release emotions. I think a lot of, when bad things are happening in childhood, it's the secrecy. You're not allowed to tell anyone, and so you have so much inside of you that wants to come out that actually you wouldn't just go and have a conversation with. So I think throughout my life, through my diaries, through my poetry, through my music, that has been my avenue to release some things.
Perfect. So tell us your story. What made your 9 or you're 7, whichever score you choose, what happened within that 9 and 7?
What happened? So my parents were really young when I was born. I was born on my mum's 19th birthday, so she was 18 when she was pregnant, and I came on her 19th birthday. Happy birthday, mum! And my dad was 17, and they had a very it was a very violent relationship. My mum's dad passed away when I was about 3 or 4. And
Mhm.
from what I can gather, that's when things changed. It was a very violent relationship. Um, my dad had secret affairs, secret families that we found out about through the years, after 20 years or whatever. And yeah, and my mum was addicted to him. She couldn't leave him, so she kept taking us back. And I was on my own for 8 years, and then one of my siblings came along. So there's a long time of being alone.
Mhm.
And we left, and then my mum got pregnant with my sister, and we were taken back. So obviously, you've got no control over that as a child, have
Right.
you?
Right.
And then, it was other things. It wasn't just the family life. Obviously, that was really traumatic. I remember being about 4 and walking in, my mum trying to kill herself because of my dad and these secret affairs. And but at the end of the day, there's so many things that happened back then. Time was different. The times that were in the 80s. I was mixed race. Oh, well, I am mixed race. My dad's mixed race, but I was the first mixed race person in our family in the area. So there was a lot of things about race. And I think with all the little bits and bobs from everywhere, not just family, from society, that is what shut me up a lot, and I didn't really talk about how I felt, or because I was very different to everybody anyway. So it was just kind of just swallow it and continue with life, put it to the back of the mind.
Mhm.
But obviously, as I've grown and as I've researched and I've healed and I've looked at things, both sides, from both my mum and my dad, were their traumas.
Mhm.
And it all extends to my grandparents,
Right.
and my heart goes out because when they were alive, I wasn't old enough to think like this and to
Right.
have these conversations with them. So for me, it's just very obvious. It's generational trauma from both sides passed down to me.
I will let you in on a bit of a secret because I'm doing little tidbits about the book, and I'll let you know the first chapter is talking about addressing generational trauma because we have to. I think that is the answer to a lot of questions because when we grew up, it was stay out of grown folks' business, or you're too young to understand that, or don't say anything, just for the sake of the family. Well, what I love
Yeah,
about ACEs now, it's not that anymore, but they want us to talk. But not to say that it's too late. It's taken a toll over our bodies. It's taken a toll over our mental health badly. And so I like it that we have those outlets and things. I love my parents, I do. However, that addressing generational trauma will change you for real.
yeah,
And I think
100%.
that's what it is for you. I hate to hear all of the experiences that you have been through, but even just naming your experiences, that's why your number is what it is. But I commend you for being that person that took advantage of understanding that number, did your own research, and started taking care of you. So, congratulations, because that's the key. We have to take care of our mental health just as much as we take care of our physical health. Our emotional health
100%.
key. That's why it's all of this information that is up and coming now because mental health is at an all-time high worldwide. That's our
Yeah.
commonality. We have to do what we need
Mhm.
to. So what do you do in addition to your music? What else do you do?
So I teach yoga, and I'm at because yoga's been again, even before I've been doing yoga since I was 20.
Sure.
And I didn't realize how it was helping me, because we naturally look for healing, don't we? And yoga always, I did not have control of my emotions. I didn't know what happened. I was overcome by these emotions, whether it be sadness, whether it be rage, whatever it was, it took me over.
Right.
And yoga was something that always centered me
Mhm.
and brought me back to myself. And I didn't give it its due and didn't realize how much, again, until recently, really, although I was doing it and teaching it for so many years, but it's only really finding, that's why I call Root to Heal. That's basically the umbrella of everything I do, because it was only when I got the root of the
Right.
problem that I felt that I could heal properly. I'd done all these surface layers about my dad, but there was an underlying root of sexual abuse that I'd put to the, not from my dad, from a second cousin, but that I'd put to the back of my mind and completely forgot about.
Oh,
And it was that I needed to uncover to see everything for what it
right.
was. So,
Now, another personal question. Are your parents still alive?
yeah, both of them, thankfully. Yeah.
Good. Are are they addressing their mental health?
So my mom, she's definitely got CPTSD from those years, and she went into, she's a workaholic. That's how she deals with hers, and she always has been through. She now has 5 children in total. The youngest in the 20s, but even with those kids, she's always had 3 jobs. She's always been working, always staying busy, and she's still that way to this day. My little sister is in hospital in labour right now, having her first baby, and my mum will be at work until the moment she gets that call to go to the
Sure.
hospital,
I'm
and then go
sure.
back to work.
I'm
um,
sure.
my dad hasn't got the capacity. He doesn't have that capacity within him to look at himself, unfortunately. So,
So how do you share with friends and family how to understand ACEs and how to heal?
um, I tell a lot of people about ACEs. A lot of people haven't heard of it
Mhm.
at all. I think unless you work in a charity in the UK, you're not generally told about things like this.
Right.
Um, but I do let people know, and to go through and have a look at this checklist. I'm also at uni to be a counsellor, so that's what I'd like to bring in with my yoga, and have a complete trauma healing business. But that's going to take me a few years to get my degree. But that's the plan, of just trying to bring it forward and have the qualifications so that people actually listen. Because although I feel that experience in this field is extremely important to actually really understand some of the symptoms. So,
And I agree. However, I am running into a lot of people like myself with learned experiences. We cannot take away from the learned experiences. So I'll give you
no.
an example. I definitely have ACEs. I don't hide it at all. Had it, but the understanding for me is how people relate a lot more because it comes from me sharing my story. The thing is, I surprisingly haven't shared, I've shared bits and pieces. I haven't been able to because I feel like we normalize it. We normalize the abuse. We normalize, neglect of our bodies, which is the reason why the CDC made all of these fabulous updates. I'm a CDC watcher. And when they did it last year in 2023, I was excited because these were recommendations that I recommended to become Dr. Williams, but they have updated it twice since then, twice. And I think their recent update was July of 2024. And
Okay.
things like hurricanes, natural disasters are now considered adverse childhood experiences. And so we have to be, not to say we have to be careful, but people really need to know how much of an impact that those experiences that we experience have on us. It's different for each person, but it shouldn't be normalized. And I think that's my purpose, my passion to say, hey, it's okay to have an ACEs score, but it's not okay to be sexually abused, period.
Mhm.
Any types or
Yeah.
any forms of abuse. I just recently, thanks to therapy myself, learned or have been getting into narcissistic abuse. Because if it wasn't for me going to therapy and finding out exactly the experiences I have been going through as a result of ACEs, I would have never known. Never, never. So I think that education is the key. And what I love about you is you're sharing your thoughts and your expressions through your music. Have people came to you and said anything like, hey, I love that, or your story is relatable?
Yeah, one of the songs, called Born in Rehab, whenever I play that, somebody always comes to me and says, you know, those words have hit a nerve in me. So that one, people really love it and really relate to it. And I think because I talk about the words are, I was born and raised on a council estate, and even that, you know, so many of us in the UK are from council housing, council estates, but then you're taught to be ashamed of it, and you know, and it's just out. This is, yeah, you know, this has happened, and I was born in rehab because I've had so much to heal from day dot, you know, and I'm one of the lucky ones, because when I look back at my life, you know, I went completely off the rails for a lot of years as a teenager, just searching. And, you know, so many people have passed away, and that's because they were traumatized. So I just feel so lucky
Mhm.
that I'm still here and have healed, and I get to talk about it, and hopefully heal help other people heal and see within themselves, you know. So
Well, you've helped me tremendously. So let's be clear. I had to put it out there and let people know. I found it honorable to be asked to come virtually to the United Kingdom for a healing summit, because it's something that we've talked about for a while. And just to see how much of an impact that it had just on you all's community makes it, it made me feel so great just to be a part of a community that is addressing ACEs. It wouldn't matter if it was two people. It wouldn't matter if it was just you. Somebody talking about ACEs, singing about ACEs, expressing themselves will definitely have my attention. And I believe you continuing doing what you're doing, you're advocating and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing because it makes you feel good. It's the self gratification for me. So thank you so much for leading that way over there in the UK. I appreciate it. I really do. I have,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. You know, apart from Mick, I don't really know anybody talking about it over here. And, you know, that was summit was great to meet people from the States and all over. It's just amazing. And it warmed my heart, because I'm stop start sometimes, and knowing that there are other people out there talking about the same thing, it's really nice.
That's what it was for me. When me and Nick found each other, it was like, oh, so that's when I started saying, I've met people overseas. It's not just the United States issue, it's a worldwide issue. And here you are, someone else that's not from the United States that loves to connect with the states, but our commonality is understanding ACEs. I love
Mhm.
it. I have another good question. So you are aware of the categories, you know about ACEs. Is there something out there that we should be addressing a lot more?
I think ACEs really needs it. We need to be a lot younger. Most people that I know, if they know about ACEs, they're older, and this is something that could have saved me a lot of years at a much younger age. So I
I agree.
think,
And I
mm,
think that's the reason why I'm pushing for the youth to understand more. Here recently, and I have a foundation. Thank the Lord for this wonderful foundation. I have actually been mentoring for years, and I feel like our generation, we have us covered. So I have you, I have Mick, I have Leah, I have all these wonderful people because this ACEs community that we have built just naturally supporting each other and spreading awareness is really working because I see it everywhere now and I'm so humble for it. But our generation are the ones that's going through where the body keeps the score, and we're the ones that's doing the struggling based off of the effects of unresolved trauma. Well, we have an
Mhm.
opportunity to get with our youth and say, hey, in order for you not to be like us, this is what you need to know. And so I'm happy about the Be Victorious Foundation because it's a mentorship program that addresses ACEs. We do it hands down. These mentees that I've been mentoring for years are now mentoring others, that
Fantastic.
upcoming community that is coming up to say, okay, you guys, let's talk about ACEs. Let's talk about what things are okay and what things are not. And we need to have those conversations. And the reason why I brought that up is because you don't have to have a degree to share information about ACEs because the information is out there already. So don't think that you have to have a degree at all. Of course, people are looking for experts, but the experts is already on the websites. It's on the research that we watch. So
Yeah.
that was the reason why I went back, not to say so I could be an expert, so I can say, well, you guys, I went to the CDC and got this information. It's already there. It's sitting on a website that's just been sitting there stagnant. And I'm just glad to see it's not stagnant anymore. And there's updates because there have been people for years since 1998 to say we have to do something more about it. And here we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Stand united with us. Are you going to join us?
Am I?
Yes.
Of course. Of course. So what silly question is that?
Torie, quit playing. We been playing. Quit playing with me. No, for real, because this is what we're doing. And I love to see it. People do not understand. And the one person that I always say is my producer, like, look, Marv, look now, we have somebody else. And he's like, yeah, like a proud person because he believed from the beginning that this podcast would open up and allow people to share their stories. So I seriously thank you for being here. Anything different that you would like to do in your own community to help out about ACEs?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to definitely expand and reach out a little bit more. I work with a lot of community, and not even in my community. You know, I travel a lot, so in different community organisations, and yeah, they definitely. I would like to do a workshop or something to bring in ACEs and maybe do, I don't know, maybe do it with a yoga or breath work or something to calm the nervous system. I'm not sure, but something like that would be really good.
Yeah,
It's just
that
getting the right
yoga,
people.
that
Yoga,
yoga was good.
exactly. Chill out, do it.
It was. I'm just happy to see you. I'm happy to for others to see that it's not about where you are and who you are. It's what you do with knowing the information that is of value to you. And you are doing it. I wouldn't have never thought, just upon you telling your story of all the things that you've experienced, but I think it's your glow. I think it's like right now to me, you're glowing. When you sing, you could tell it's a passion there that is like, hey, I'm letting this out, but I'm also letting this go. And I think
Yeah,
that's what it was for
exactly.
me.
And the issue is, I mean, that brief story is the root, but it's all the trauma that it causes for the next 20 years, isn't it? So getting to people before they even start to traumatize themselves,
Mhm,
because that's what it is,
mhm.
and then hopefully get them to understand and be with themselves a little bit more.
Wonderful. Well, let people know where they can find you. I'm going to make sure that we put this information out everywhere and probably put out a couple of songs or two so people can actually hear your song. So let people know exactly where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm on every platform under Rai Reid. That's RAIREID. Um, that's on Spotify, Instagram, Amazon, iTunes, everywhere. If it's got music on it, then it should have my album on it.
And you guys, make sure you take the time out to find it. If not, you will find it on my page for sure, because she is really, truly an amazing artist. You all know who I am. It's me, Dr. Torie, with another wonderful episode of Be Victorious. You can find me pretty much everywhere. You guys know that. Any questions or concerns, you can always find us. Reach out when you can. Thank you guys. Have a great evening and be victorious. Bye bye.